Even Ryan Garcia recognized Thursday that he doesn't deserve a welterweight title shot. Why else would the polarizing Garcia have jokingly expressed his undying love for the WBC, a sanctioning organization that ended his suspension simply to take its cut from the star's seven-figure purse for fighting Mario Barrios? Garcia is more aware than anyone, after all, that he lost his last fight decisively to huge underdog Raul Romero, was suspended for a year prior to facing him for a failed performance-enhancing drug test, has never won a fight at the welterweight limit, and has officially won once in the past 3.5 years. You almost have to commend Garcia, 24-2 with 20 knockouts, for publicly making a mockery of this obvious sanctioning scam. He'll benefit from it, of course, if he beats Barrios, 29-2-2, 18 KOs, on February 21st at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, because it'll set up a 147-pound title unification grudge rematch with his rival, newly crowned WBO champ Devin Haney. Last but not least, though, I gotta thank the WBC, a smirking Garcia said during a press conference in Los Angeles. Yeah, WBC, man, I can't thank y'all enough, the WBC. I love the WBC. You got no idea how much I love the WBC. I love the WBC. I love the WBC. Garcia then brought 3 cheerleaders on stage, each clad in the WBC's green and gold colors, and had them hold one-letter signs that spelled out the acronym. At least Garcia realizes the ridiculousness, or so it seems, of being allowed to skip the line because the WBC knows it'll make much more money from him versus Barrios than second-ranked Frenchman Souleymane Sissoko. Never mind that Sissoko paid sanctioning fees to fight for the silver title in his last 2 appearances. The only contender ranked ahead of Sissoko is Conor Benn, who the WBC moved into its top spot after he defeated domestic rival Chris Eubank Jr. in their November 15th rematch and plans to stay a welterweight. That the British star hasn't fought anywhere near 147 pounds in almost 4 years apparently doesn't matter to WBC President Mauricio Souleymane. When asked during a recent interview with The Ring why Garcia got this title shot, Souleymane essentially explained that the WBC has long-standing relationship with him and that everyone deserves a second chance. Why that trumps any of the disqualifying factors mentioned above is anyone's guess. Souleymane also pointed out that even his harshest critics can't contend Garcia doesn't have a legitimate chance to beat Barrios. Though true, that's hardly the point. Based on his tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement of the WBC on Thursday, even Garcia recognizes this for the shameless money grab that it is. Walsh's underwhelming return. Critics rightfully ripped Zuffa Boxing after its frontman, Dana White, announced Callum Walsh vs. Carlos Ocampo as the main event for its premiere event on Paramount Plus on Friday night. Fans were well within reason to expect better than Walsh Ocampo, particularly when you consider White and others continually mention making 50 to 50 fights as one of the upstart company's primary missions. Walsh, 15-0, 11 KOs, is a 7-1 favorite over Ocampo, according to DraftKings. Zuffa Boxing's cautious approach to matching Walsh is a clear indication, however, that the company's hierarchy isn't sure what to make of the Irish southpaw either. Otherwise, Walsh's new promoter wouldn't have settled on an opponent who was knocked out in the first round of a welterweight title bout by Errol Spence almost 8 years ago and again by Tim Tszyu 5 years later in a junior middleweight championship match. Since Tszyu took him out, Ocampo, 38-3 with 26 knockouts, has knocked out each of his 3 opponents. They had a combined record of 43-30-1, thus this is the first real fight for Ocampo since June 2023. The intent, of course, is for Walsh to make a superb Zuffa Boxing debut 4 months after his unquestionable but unremarkable points victory over Fernando Vargas Jr., 17-1 with 15 knockouts, on the Canelo Alvarez-Terence Crawford undercard September 13th.